Suzanne Gold, expert lecturer, is presenting on In the Year 9 After the Britney Crisis. Suzanne, if you don't know her, runs the publishing arm of Hair Club, a collaborative, interdisciplinary, research-based initiative that explores the role of hair in culture. Everyone, Suzanne.
Hi, everyone. Thank you to Meekling for having me, and to the Crown, and to all of you. This is In the Year 9 After Britney Crisis. On the evening of October 27th, in the year formerly known as 2007, that is, 2007 years after Christ, Britney Spears led her paparazzi on a merry chase through the Hollywood Hills to Esther's haircutting studio. It was there that, seated on a salon chair surrounded by mirrors, Britney shaved her hair off with a neck trimmer. In this brave and fortifying reification of Britney's womanhood, we find inspiration and solace. And it is in this spirit that we move to do away with the Gregorian calendar in favor of reordering all of time according to when Britney shaved her head in 2007. Therefore, the year 2007, Anno Domini, will now forever be known as the year 0 ABC, after Britney Crisis. This program is sponsored by the government of Hair Club and representative of the new hair party led by Dolly Parton and Oprah, two iconic heads of state. They keep Wayne Newton on staff for ribbon cutting ceremonies. Where's Wayne Newton? There he is. In this hair-rich society, bolstered by bumpets, hairspray, pick brushes, low-angled fans, and appropriate lighting, hair has taken a central seat in the functioning of our society and in the rendering of our values. Where there is hair, there are narratives that are by nature feminist, vulnerable, anti-racist, actively intersectional, and deeply personal, such that the personal becomes the political. In the year 0, Britney emerged from a Los Angeles hair salon, bald as the day she stepped out of that sports car going to that club. In that same year, the celebrity apprentice Donald Trump was arrested for hair crimes, facing life in prison. In a televised event during a newly established nightly news hour, they pulled the plug on the complex localized weather system that had been previously holding his hair aloft, and the world watched as he cowered and covered his head in shame. This was a major victory for the hair party, who wanted to celebrate with a complete destruction of the values that had steadily crept like vines over the vestiges of our country. And I quote, "Every time we want to mention time in any context whatsoever, we were forced to also reference him, that guy. Like a giant Jumbotron clock blinking on top of the pyramids of Giza saying, for some reason, we refer to these as existing 2,500 years before Christ, even though he had nothing whatsoever to do with them." Or when making plans with a new friend to hit the buffet next weekend, it seems kind of presumptuous to say, "Hey, so great meeting you at that party last night. Want to eat all you can truly eat with me next Tuesday, the 22nd, 2016 years after Christ?" So boring, so arbitrary to arrange all of history around the birth of a single character. Mind you, the self-same character who inspired knights of the crusade to persecute any woman living alone in any village as a witch. And in particular, who inspired two dingle-headed Dominican inquisitors named Heinrich Kramer and Jacob Sprenger in the former 15th century to publish a definitive tome on identifying witches in your neighborhood, spreading rumors in the small villages along their self-righteous trek saying, "Hey, yeah, see that woman living happily alone on the edge of your town? Maybe she's got a blazing fire that might be welcoming to children. Maybe there's a large pot sitting to boil on that fire. Maybe she's singing, humming, or who knows, even mumbling to herself because she delights in her own company. And yeah, maybe she grows Rapunzel in her garden because it really settles the stomach. But more likely, most likely, she's got this great big mop of unruly, unbearably sexual curly hair. And it's the hair you want to look out for. The larger it grows, the more potent her sexual desires, the more dangerous she is to you and the good newly Christian, right? Christian? No? Good, yes, the newly Christian values of your town. Because, folks, that woman living happily alone over there with the fabulous hair, that woman is a witch. That is a direct quote from their book, The Malleus Maleficarum. Or The Witch's Hammer. Actually, I think the exact phrase was something like, "Thou shalt not suffer that witch to live," lifted verbatim from Exodus. And as they made their way along their crusade, they turned back on sitting on their horses, who themselves at this point are totally incensed at all this anti-long natural hair talk, being one of, say, 3 or 4 mammalian species total that can actually grow a spate of fabulous, luscious, long hair. And say, oh, fair warning, if the witch shakes her hair at you, then her hexing spells are doubled. Organizing time around the values that sought to suppress the sacred feminine power of hair and witches? As if. Therefore, next Wednesday, the 19th, year 9 after Britney Crisis, we offer the sale of Britney's actual hair. Gathered in all its neck-trimming splendor on the dusty floor of Esther's haircutting studio in the year 0, and encourage all of you to shake these tresses at your local oppressors. In addition to hair being a physical marker of intense sexual energy and feminine power, largely attributed to the phrase from the Old Testament that states, "Your hair is like a flock of goats," hair is also a record. Some say that's why she did it. Facing a custody battle over her babies, one of whom was born only 2 months before, in the year 0 BBC, before Britney Crisis, Britney wanted to make sure that nothing remained on her body as a signal of past behavior, a record of prior ingestions. By shaving her head, she had the power to wipe the slate clean, or maybe she wanted to say to the swarming horde of photographers that still follow her every move, "Look, without my hair, I'm almost human. No sexual power or malicious witchy energy to speak of." But then again, let's be honest. She's not that innocent. She's never not had a public to stun, so there she sat, swiping the curtains back so the paparazzi could see her every shear, shaving her whole head with the tiny neck trimmer that could, balding till it came up totally bare, and then, tears jumping to her eyes, she ran a hand over that smooth, tender dome and said, with words that will echo throughout history and time itself, "Oh my God, my hair's gone. I just shaved my hair off." Isn't she lovely? That Hollywood girl. Today we are honored to offer the very same neck trimmer to the Smithsonian Museum of American History as the neck trimmer that changed the way we ordered time. Across many disparate cultures and religions, one shaves one's head only at times of extreme ritual, at the conclusion of a religious pilgrimage, at the dedication of the corporeal body to the divine, as a coming of age, as a marker of one's devotion to one's spiritual practice and beliefs. Carthusian monks shave their head in tonsure as a signal of their devotion to their spiritual practice, and then sit knitting their own hair into self-flagellating hair shirts. The resacredization of our planet along the vestiges of hair is the only fitting response to the reordering of our time. Britney's postpartum wish was in that whispering, a prayer sent heavenways, and free to rise unhindered in that moment by the natural first obstacle, a thicket of hair that might, in the mind of monks, impede the progress of prayers to the heavenly realm. It is said that a prayer uttered at the moment one shaves one's head is bound fast to coming true. The present administration would also like to add that the same applies for making wishes on birthday candles. Therefore, reading from the newly scriven edicts, in the year 9 after Britney Crisis, no mother shall be demonized for seeking help during postpartum depression. In the year 9 after Britney Crisis, no person shall be tortured by means of having their hair shaved off. In the year 9 after Britney Crisis, no person shall... We separate the term dread from locks in order to suppress the history of fan-waving colonizers who, living in Jamaica in the former 1930s, referred to them as dreadful, therefore dreaded, therefore dreadlocks. And we will reinstate the Rastafari belief in that Samsonite power embedded in long locks to demonstrate wisdom and harness the energy of the wearer. In the year 9 after Britney Crisis, hair is a renewable and precious natural resource. It can be used to soak up oil spills that might leach into nature. It can become a slow-release nitrogen factory for crops and fields, 9 times more effective than your common fertilizer. In the year 9 after Britney Crisis, we recognize hair as a sacred substance upon which meaning and metaphor glide like glycerides in your shampoo, from the Sanskrit word to scrape, as in to clean away. In the name of independent ladies, single mothers, women who live alone at the edge of your town, we stand with the Britneys. The Ashleys were unavailable for comment. And while it's true that we briefly considered rearranging the clock around the earth-shattering moment when Julia Roberts, lifting her arm to wave to her adoring fans, revealed a glorious tangle of armpit hair to the masses, we feel the neatly shorn head of Britney Spears is the proper marking of our new time. And if you'll join me with me now in Britney's name, gimme more. Gimme more. Gimme. Thank you.